See, I'm working on an intro for that. But anyway, copyright. Welcome to Jedi Mike 7 Mood News Show. I am your host, Jedi Mike 7. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Sorry we had a delay yesterday. Again, I had a lot of things going on, work wise, but from yesterday and even today, I had 3 interviews for press back to back today. But again, the show must go on, and we have lots to talk about from last week, and making sure that preparing for this upcoming week of content in the world of movie, TV, television, all etc. But if you guys are watching the pre-recording, make sure you guys hit like button, comment, and also share the content. Let people know that you found the channel and everything like that. But also, if you are new to the channel or anything, please subscribe. Let it be part of this community and everything as we're slowly growing to the road to 1,000 subscribers. But today I'm not alone. Today I got one of my co-hosts, Jay King. How you doing, man?
Right? You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, just
Great.
little technology issues, but otherwise, I'm good.
It's all good. All good. Man, how you doing, man? This is me talking.
Uh,
How you
I'm
doing?
doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing good.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. I might have something to cheer your moods up later. But um yeah. Just trust me. I think I got something for you. Anyway. But
Okay.
yeah, I just want to know, do you have a good weekend? How was with world of news? A lot of stuff dropped to this past week. Marvelous week, as you see the thumbnail.
hmm
Yeah, anything that caught your eye or anything like that before we kind of get into the order of the show?
I mean, I can just say really when it came to like this past week and all the stuff that kept dropping literally after Deadpool 3 trailer, it was just good seeing some hype come back, especially in terms of Marvel, just people having a hype again for certain projects and actually being excited for things rather than divisive, even though somehow the thing that we have right here is a little divisive, but we're not going to talk about that,
Well, that's gonna
apparently.
be the main. This is gonna be main topic of the show, one of them. But yeah, but I guess we
Mm.
just get right into it. Before we get into that, to our segment of that show. But yeah, we're gonna get right into terms of, let me see, the order. As we before we get into World Marvel, DC and stuff, we get into the show. Jedi Mike 7. Let's get it. Yeah, so today there's actually some breaking news that actually just dropped. And I don't want to actually tell J King what it is, whatever, but he probably have already seen it. But yeah, there have been a lot of images that dropped today. There's a lot of images that dropped today, and I was actually surprised and shocked that this came out. But actually, from the looks of it, I'm actually kind of bummed out, but maybe a seed of potential might be coming through. Again, in the world of DC, we love DC animation. We love all this stuff like that, right? We got DC Crisis
Oh,
Infinite
oh,
trailer,
I
part two,
yeah, hmm
part two,
yeah,
part
I
two,
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
right? But that's not what I'm talking about. Today, I actually want to talk about this. Bam. Bam. What is this,
hmm
y'all? I'm glad you asked. Well, this is actually an image of terms of the Batman Beyond animated movie as a concept art that was going to be pitched by the Spider-Verse artist, even though it got ultimately canceled and stuff like that. But again, there might be a seed of hope. Again, the fact that they released these images today and everybody and the fans' responses of this are actually overwhelmingly positive. But yeah, Jay King, what were your thoughts on these images of Batman Beyond?
Yeah, I remember seeing these earlier and like getting the description of like who made the art and who pitched it, and I'm just like, given how we all eventually like how people eventually responded to the art of Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, I can already tell, at least on a visual level, this would have been a really, really good Batman Beyond's like visually wise, a very visually pleasing Batman Beyond story. Again, now that a lot of people have come over to the idea of not everything looking 100% like the proportions of how we usually look, I think that people would have 100% enjoyed a story for Batman Beyond in this style. Again, we don't know what the story would have been about, but given the fact that Batman Beyond is so popular, I think we can have some ideas about what it potentially could have looked like.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because with this, like, and I saw the images and I was like, wait a minute. Um, this actually looks actually kind of cool. And think of it in the world of terms of the animated series. If you guys don't know who Batman Beyond is Terry McGinnis is a person who takes the mantle of Batman in a futuristic Gotham City with the old man Bruce Wayne, um, in a more futuristic textile Batman suit. But yeah, this is a character that's been widely known since the 90s, and in the anime series and stuff like that, and very popular character, even though some people might not say popular, but he is being brought back into Medium, even in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part Two. And again, we don't know which will be coming out in April this year. Only a couple months away. Great. Can't wait for it. Hopefully, I'll be in CinemaCon when that movie comes out. But yeah. So he is a popular character. He's becoming more known. Again, if you go to your HBO Max or Max streaming service, you can find all your Batman animated episodes. I believe they're still there. But aside from that, I think again, these concept arts look really cool. I think that even though this is a failed concept, I think that what they have here definitely I would like to have a poster of this, and our art style of this and everything. But yeah, that'd be definitely interesting to see. But yeah, again, the fact that we can see now the world of Spider Verse again, can you understand when it comes to animation, DC that's their lane, where they
Right.
thrive and have their own, iterations and stuff like that. So, but again, with Marvel, their highest thing in animation, aside from this, whatever, is Spider Verse, right? Again, you have X Men Evolution, you got the Avengers, Earth Mightiest Heroes, you have all those shows and stuff, but this and Spider Verse are top tier to date. So, but again, diving into DC now, again with that concept art that Spider Verse has been doing, I'm all here for it. But again, even though it was a concept, nothing's been confirmed or anything. But hopefully, I believe this is plants to seed of curiosity about what could be and what might be. Again, James Gunn, if you're watching, again, hey, might have something on your hands here for another streaming show on HBO Max and stuff. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Batman Beyond, the animated series or the animated series that Batman Beyond now being adapted into the art style of Spider Verse, a movie that was canceled but was pitched by the Spider Verse visual effects artists? Let us know in the comment section down below. All right, y'all. Now, after that, we're gonna get into is that we got some very fantastic news. Fantastic news. During Valentine's Day, I had a good Valentine's Day. Well, I actually didn't do nothing on Valentine's Day. It was the weekend. I had a good time. But yeah, J King, how was your holiday? How was your holiday?
We don't talk about that.
Okay, I'll move on. But listen, yeah, but hey, I had to again just being equal opportunities here. But yeah, today or actually this past weekend, we have some news that finally, after years, and I mean years, y'all, that we waiting for this casting, but now they released it. No ifs, ands, buts about it. The Fantastic Four has finally been cast. Marvel's first family has officially been cast. We have Pedro Pascal as confirmed as our Reed Richards. We got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Visible Woman. We have Joseph Quinn, who's going to be, for you remember him from Stranger Things, season 4. He's going to be playing Human Torch. And we have Eben Moss Bottrack, I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right, as Ben Grimm, the Thing. He also received an Emmy, I think also Golden Globe as well, on for his performance on The Bear, which is I believe is on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. But aside from this, and before I get my thoughts, Jay King, what is your thoughts on the casting of Fantastic Four?
I mean, I was still just entirely shocked to wake up on Valentine's Day and see that, and then just be like, "Huh?" But honestly, again, looking at this casting, it's honestly really good. I know a lot of people are going to still be on Marvel's head about, oh, why Pedro? Why is Pedro everywhere? But honestly, as somebody that has seen Reed Richards in multiple different varieties as both the scrawny nerd and as trust me, Reed does get buff in the comics too. And hey, when does he get buff? Leading up to Secret Wars. But again, like I see it as a lot of people aren't thinking on it on the acting side when it comes to Pedro because we don't know what his take on Reed will act like. So we just gotta wait and see on that. Vanessa Kirby, I've always felt like she could be Sue Storm, and well, that's gonna happen. Joseph Quinn, especially after Stranger Things, yeah, I definitely say that that was a very good choice for Johnny Storm. And in terms of Ebony as the Thing, while I hadn't seen where you had seen him from, I remembered that he was in Andor, and I remember his performance
Yes,
in Andor
right,
being
right.
really good. I remember his performance in Andor being really good, so I'm like, you know what? I can actually see him, being the grundled old, like, it's clobbering time, Ben Grimm. I can see this being the type of Ben Grimm that's best friends with Reed and can get annoyed as heck over Johnny. Again, like I can see this cast really working well. Like I actually can really see it as somebody that has read Fantastic Four comics for a long time. This is 100%. These actors, 100% scream the characters that they've been casted in, and I really, really actually love how Marvel Studios revealed this in the most nonchalant way possible.
Yeah. Yeah, because I actually 'cause I have some thoughts on the casting again. Like when I saw it, I didn't have no oh my god, who like this person? I'm like, okay, because at this point I didn't care. And what I mean by I didn't care was I'm tired of hearing about rumors. I'm tired of hearing about Adam Driver, Margot Robbie. I'm tired of hearing about John Krasinski and everything. I'm tired of all of it. It's been over multiple years, at least about 2 years that they've been doing this rumor about casting and stuff like that. So I'm just glad that we finally could have basically, get the true concern, of the Fantastic Four, no ifs and buts about it. Now, what are my thoughts on the casting itself? Now, again, in terms of any of the acting capabilities of the actors and stuff, I actually have no issue with it whatsoever. Again, I think all these actors have proven and show capability that they have enough range to actually do the characters that they've been casted in. Especially with Joseph Quinn, who I think again that's my favorite casting out of the bunch. Vanessa Kirby definitely is textbook in my opinion with in terms of the look of Sue Storm. Again, Mission Impossible, you have again you have that franchise to tied into and stuff. But aside from that, Ebon Moss Batrack, again, I've seen his performance. I think as a voice too, definitely have a definitely like more rugged, type of voice to that. But the main person we need to talk about is Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Now, again, I'm a fan of Pedro Pascal. I'm a fan of him in Mandalorian. Been a fan of him, for since Game of Thrones when he played a Martell, the leader of the Martell family and everything, until he was executed. But anyway, that's was really his main introduction to the scene by a lot of people. Then he became the Mandalorian, and then we see him in other projects now where he's playing other iconic characters such as Joel in The Last of Us, which he done a fantastic job in that. But in terms of Reed Richards, when I saw that casting, well, at least I saw the rumor of it. These were my thoughts on it. This is safe casting. Not saying it's bad casting. I'm saying as me as a film pundit side of knowing the industry, this is a safe option. You already in the Disney umbrella. You already have connections with doing father figure type roles. So again, I am not really surprised that again his name was mentioned, but I also know his name wasn't even mentioned at all prior to when the rumors came out. Now, in terms of the look and everything, listen, anybody can go into to the makeup chair, shave their beard, grow one, dye their hair, the sideburns, whatever, white mess, and look like Reed Richards more clean. He looks like Joel right now, but he can look like Reed Richards. That's what everybody's thinking. When they say, "Oh no, Mando with the two bearded, mustache and stuff like that." They're gonna get an own look for Reed Richards, whatever it might be. Me personally, I think again it's gonna probably be going to the bearded, uh, uh, Reed Richards. But also again, this is a much older Reed Richards. Just like I think Pedro Pascal, I think he's in his late 40s or 50s, I believe. And again, he's about 10-year difference or so between him and Vanessa Kirby. But again, whatever. I also heard like some rumors that he might actually be they might actually have kids. They might uh, uh, was I forget Franklin Richards, and
Franklin and Valeria Richards, their son
yeah,
and daughter. Yeah.
right. So again, I will, and that's something actually I would like to see different in terms of them being parents. As again, we know we had the Ant-Man stuff, and so I want to see the first family and their children and stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
but but yeah, aside from that, I have no issue with the casting. However, I know in my head this was safe casting. Again, now also there's another conversation again to it that hey, he is Mexican or Cuban or Latino, Latino actor, whatever, right? But guess what? We have white Hispanics. We have, I mean, a lot of people make an argument. I didn't know the dude wasn't white until somebody says it. Same thing. You think Oscar Isaac, he is racially ambiguous. That's what he's literally made a joke about it on SNL. He can go from playing, a Jewish, Moon Knight to Timothy Chalamet's daddy in Dune, So, but yeah, so it's like there's two opposite sides of the spectrum here. But again, I think I'm not worried about his performance at all. I just understand in terms of of reason why he was cast. Is just a safe option. Now, also again, in terms of fan base, the biggest thing is how they're going to actually interact as a family. Again, it's
Mhm.
not just Avengers; these are a family,
Yeah,
right?
that's the difference between them and every other group. It's like much like the Guardians, they are a family, but even more so than the Guardians because they're actual family, brother and sister, husband and wife, best friends. Like they are Marvel's first family. Like not a team like the Avengers or in some cases like the X-Men. They are a family and they have to play off like a family.
Right. Yeah. And for me, I'm looking forward to Joseph Quinn. Really good. That's the one I'm really looking forward to because I have a soft spot for Johnny Storm. That's Human Torch. And but yeah, I want to see the that. Oh, excuse me one second. Hey, sweetie. Hey, sweetie. Wife. Hold on. I got plot. I got. Excuse me. J King. Forgive me, my brother. I had to do some corrective discipline.
Um okay. Y'all heard that just like I did. But anyways, I guess I'll move on while he's doing that. Um, but yeah. Again, also I can understand some people saying that Pedro is very much safe casting, and a lot of people just really wanted John to come back after Multiverse of Madness. But I mean, hey, you remember John is someone that says he doesn't want to be tied down to any type of universe ever. So I think trying to get him back was already going to be a difficult thing entirely. And again, when it comes to Pedro, I would like to think because again, everybody's like, he don't look like Reed, he don't look like Reed. It's like, okay, well, Benedict Cumberbatch, Robert Downey Jr., amongst many of the others, weren't everyone's ideal choice when thinking about these characters. Yet, we love their performances as the characters that they are. So again, I feel like there's something that they saw in Pedro that reminded them of Reed. So even though it's safe casting, I think we should at least just wait and actually see, okay, what did they see that maybe some people aren't thinking of right now? But anyways, let's now talk about everything else that's in that poster that might be hinting at where the film is. Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to. Um, yeah, sorry, I had to do. I had to do a few things.
hmm
Submission. Anyway, um, um, but yeah, yeah, you talk about the Easter eggs. There's a lot of Easter eggs here we can dissect
hmm
um, in this reveal here. For one, I'm a graphic design major. Let's just look at the art aesthetic of this. It's giving very 1960 vibes of Steve Ditko type of drawings and stuff like that. Definitely giving Jack Kirby. And
Mhm.
speaking of Kirby, you also got the machine Kirby on the side here,
Kirby!
as well as the Visible Woman being played by Vanessa Kirby. Right? Coincidence? I think not.
Not.
Right. So I actually got clipped that anyway.
Mhm.
But yeah, but as you see here in the image right here, there's a lot of again, this given like a 1960 feel. You also see the magazine cover is actually, I believe, that magazine cover comes from 1962 or 1963,
Mhm.
or four. During, I believe, I don't know, it couldn't be the Cold War, or maybe that was World War II. I'm not sure. Um,
It's either
Probably the
it's
Cold.
either it's either that it was around the time, which also ties into the photo of Ben above with the because those specific pictures of astronauts were only used around said time, especially when they were going to take place in the 1960s. Are we going to see that they were apparently around during the 60s, and then what? Like Steve Rogers get displaced into modern day? I mean, that's something that I've always wanted, that I've been thinking, yes, if they were to do a story and to make them the first family, that's what you do. And this thing is really giving a lot of hints to that.
Right, because also the only thing we've gotten pre MCU is Internals, aside
Mhm.
from, like, again, Captain Marvel only go back to the 90s. Cap goes into like 64, so this is right after, right before, right, maybe 10
But
or maybe 10 or 20 years or so, give or take 20 years,
yeah.
give or take, um 25 years or so for after Cap and Frozen. But you still have the creation of uh, Hydra Shield and Peggy Carter and Howard Stark, all that stuff. Scott Lang. That'd be very interesting to see if a young Scott Lang actually was colleagues with Reed Richards.
You mean Hank?
Or yeah, Hank. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Hank, Ant Man. So again, because they are science, collab, people respecting
Mhm.
other scientists and stuff. So, but again,
Yeah.
whatever the concept is, I like that you're giving a more creative and aesthetic approach to this film, which is what I appreciate it telling me you at least are trying. And it can, even then, from the looks of the Valentine's Day poster, I don't believe these are their costumes. I don't believe they're going to be wearing freaking sweaters throughout the whole movie and stuff. But it does just give me
No.
a lot to the '60s and that form of just terms of what they look like at that time. But also can insinuating tone, which is
Mhm.
important. But as well, again, is that you're also establishing this is the first family. And the director also directed WandaVision, so you're given type of he's been down this lane before. Those episodes probably one of the best out of the season, or at least in
Mhm.
terms of the set design of it. So again, I like period pieces when they're utilized well. Now, when we get to the actual story of, even though I don't take that for a grain of salt, but even when I'm hearing as rumors about the villains, this is where it's going to be a negative for me because I think that's an absolute mistake. If certain villains, what they're rumoring to be in this movie, are going to be in their first movie, and I think that's a huge mistake. That's my
Well,
opinion.
but before we get to that, I'd also say, like, in case there's anybody that's like, okay, well, this is just like a Valentine's Day image they made just for Valentine's Day and to give us the cast. No, the person behind the image is
Oh, Jake, you're breaking up. Well, give me 1 second where your um, camera gets up. Yeah, you're breaking up. All right, I think you're good now. You're good now.
okay. Well, anyways, I was saying is like, anyways, as I was saying is like, this isn't just a image that they made for Valentine's Day to give us the cast, because the person who did the image is someone who does official.
Dang, yeah, you're still breaking up.
Hello.
Okay, no, now you're good. Yeah, you keep going in now, but you're good now. You're good.
Anyways, as I was saying, um, okay, sorry. As I was saying, the person who did this image does official concept art for Marvel. Like if you go to their Instagram page, like it's filled with a lot of concepts that eventually became the stuff that we've seen before in the MCU. Not only with the fact that the person directing this directed WandaVision, it's like, these hints that they're dropping in here are much more purposeful than
Yes, correct.
it's
Absolutely. Yeah, I say it looks purposeful. Again, it's something different. And I know some people are
Mhm,
gonna be kind of like, complaining about it. Listen, like I think again, this showing, to what the story is, would care for the most part. Now, again, what they're going to be doing, you have to signify importance, especially to Reed Richards in terms of his impact of the MCU moving forward. Again, now if you can do that in one movie, maybe, but again, you have to making sure that this guy's going to be a figurehead moving forward in the MCU, like a Reed
mhm,
Richards, like a uh, Iron Man, Tony Stark's Iron Man, like a Captain America. Like the Reed Richards is a pivotal character in terms of the overall backing of the MCU, especially when we get into Secret Wars.
mhm.
And now again,
And even especially when it comes to the character of Kang entirely, because the Fantastic Four were the ones who introduced Kang for the first time. They have bigger connections more than anyone else.
with this Fantastic Four, because they've interacted with Kang in the comics as well. Especially there's a storyline where he went back, and this is what I wanted them to make this film. But again, with some of the rumors that I'm hearing is that they were supposed to go back in time, and I actually gonna pull the comic run here when they actually dealt with the King variant, which is Ramatut. Ramatut, again, one of the King variants you see here. This right here is I believe is the Fantastic Four. I don't know what issue is, but again, it's the Ramatut storyline where they go back in
Mhm,
time and deal with Ramatut when he basically acting as a pharaoh or a type of leader during Egypt times and everything like stuff like that with Great Pyramids and everything. But he is
mhm.
a variant of Cain. Now this whole time, whatever. But again, and that also leads into the connection of King Dynasty and again, making King a more pivotal character moving out. If anything, this should have been his first introduction, not Ant-Man and the Wasp. But hey, we can't change the past. We're gonna look forward. But yeah, this is what I want this film to be. And the fact that it was in the 60s make perfect sense, especially even if you make it some type of possibly like an Indiana Jones type of feel to it, of like, again, Indiana Jones set in the 60s, dealing with, pyramid adventure, stuff like that, is a setting that Fantastic Four, which we really haven't seen before. We see them stuck in a lab or going to negative zone or fighting a cloud and stuff, and that's it. And I really want to get back to these. These are explorers. They're supposed
Mhm.
to be astronauts. So let's go to the voyage beyond and stuff like that. Those type of
Right.
forms of storytelling. So that's what for me, the images that I'm seeing here, again, this is look like they're paying off with that type of style, and I'm gonna be here for it, supporting it until again I see it, and then we see the judge when we're have our seats in the theater. So other
Mhm.
than that, let us know your thoughts on the casting down below. And let us know your thoughts. I've been seeing the comment section right now. See some people shout out to Danielle Womack. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Shout out to the Lawrence Report. Yeah, people are just saying not really down with the Pedro Pascal casting, and which I mean, again, I think it's more just weights of performance. We've heard this before. Christian Bale or Heath Ledger Joker, Hugh Jackman Wolverine
Mhm.
before. So, but again, I understand
Yeah.
where they're coming from. I'd say I was the same way where I was like, Pedro, okay, that's safe. Immediately when I saw it, not bad actor, just safe. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
how
like as we yeah, but like as you said, again, it's like, a lot of the characters from actors that we've seen before that people just love were not people's ideal choices when it came to those characters to begin with. The likes of RDJ, the likes of Benedict Cumberbatch, the likes of Hugh Jackman, people did not think of them at first. And yet, look how that all turned out. So I guess it's really just a wait and see when it comes to Pedro and see what type of Reed Richards he is.
Yeah, yeah. So, but either way, I'm all here for it. But y'all let us know your thoughts on the casting of the Fantastic Four, which will be coming in 2025, just 2 weeks after Superman Legacy. So yeah, July 2025 is going to be a big month. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. All right, and before we even get to the next one, the last one I think for MCU purposes. We just got a new trailer, which is going to be of X-Men 97, the return of the famous animated show. And I forgot my intro. But anyway, what this goes to our segment. What's new with the MCU? And we're back, y'all. So yeah, so we just got the trailer, the first trailer of X-Men 97. So before I bring up the breakdown trailer and everything, J King, what are your thoughts on the trailer for X-Men 97?
I was completely blown away just with how it looks. Again, this is the continuation of the 90s cartoon. So a lot of people are going to have comparisons to the quality it was back then versus what it will be now when we get it next month. But honestly, from the look of it, like, yeah, the animation isn't exactly as it was back then, but then again, it shouldn't be. Like, many years have passed at this point. Animation is aged, and honestly, it's still very much in line with what was back in that cartoon with the designs, the aesthetic, everything. Characters look on point. Many of the voice actors from the original series came back, so it's like there's not really much I can like complain about. This is the X-Men. This is the X-Men I remember watching when I watched this cartoon for the first time, and this is exactly who the X-Men are. Like, honestly, and I'm really glad to have a continuation of this story, even though it technically kind of wrapped up before. To give a continuation to where things left off is just, especially in this instance, I'm all for it. I'm ready for this one.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I was happy for again. First one immediately when I heard the music and stuff, hearing back,
Mm,
that brought it back to me again. Some of the animated animation again, I thought they did. I mean, again, it's not perfect. They still could have done the best way possible with um, trying to adapt a '90s animation style into 2024. So again, it's 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 kind of left a little bit jarring to at the moment, just first initial thoughts of it. But again, well, when once you get past that, again, rewatch the trail and everything, it feels good. Again, building to the X Men. Hopefully, again, building into X Men to the MCU. And again, they have their own faction, Marvel Animation and stuff.
mhm,
Um, I'm here for it. But with now in this trailer, we see a bunch of returning people. We see, again, Professor Xavier has passed away. We're seeing now Cyclops taking, a sense of the leader, but we're seeing a lot of new mutants as well. But also we're seeing different iterations of people we've seen before, just now in different forms, like Mohawk, Storm, seeing Gambit, seeing a pregnant Jean Grey, or should I say, maybe a Jean Grey clone? Because again, Jean, whatever,
mhm.
people, right? So, yeah, seeing Wolverine with the classic voice actor, even though you're telling the voice of character 20 plus years later, from when he did it, and think it's not going to be no voice change. You either want him back or you don't. But
Mhm,
anyway, yeah, so I'm here for it. But yeah, then now again, we see other certain characters such as Jubilee. We see Storm, Gambit. Now, this I'm gonna tell you this. My favorite shot in the trailer was this part, right? First of all, Bishop's coming back. Love Bishop.
mhm.
But yeah, this one right here.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was fire. I was
that
like,
was
wait,
cool.
what? Oh, okay. You know what? That's fire. That's fire.
Mhm,
And then this moment of returning back to Cyclops being a leader, which hopefully we'll see that live action.
mhm.
When he says to me, my X Men. you know, and
Which
seeing again,
which which was such a good moment because whenever we think of X-Men and like leader type, for those who haven't read the comics, Cyclops is not someone that immediately comes to mind. You think of Wolverine, you think of Professor X, you think of anybody else, even Magneto when he's on the side of the Angels, but not really Cyclops, even though he is the leader of the team. And I'm glad he's getting that time to shine now.
yeah, right. So, yeah, and I'm like that, again, it's time to shine. And again, the aesthetics of these characters look great. Again, now, we see Beast, we see Bishop. I love seeing Bishop in there. But yeah, we see also New Mutants in there as well. That they're going to be introducing stuff. But this is what part where I want to talk about, which again, just got disclaimer out there. A lot of people have been saying again online about X-Men '97. Been saying a lot of things that one, they're changing things, they're changing different animation or the body types of certain characters and stuff, and flipping out, or even certain characters, what their abilities are and what that might do in terms of their gender or sexuality, whatever that might be. But again, they lead to terms asking the big question that we all know: Has is X-Men '97 woke?
Yeah, with this moment, you're gonna have to give me like a good 5 minutes just to talk about this whole thing.
Okay, preface by saying, hey, disclaimer, warning, and breathe
Hmm.
and be fair. Hey,
Oh, I'm gonna be fair, all right. Okay, I'm ready.
you good?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I it literally is crazy to think that people are literally saying, "Oh no, they're making the X-Men woke. They're slimming down everything." What? Because one animation style, particularly with Rogue, is not the same as it was back then, or that some characters, in terms of stories that they potentially were going to have back in the original animated series, are getting a little bit changed in this, even though it's still the same character and it's basically the continuation of said story or whatever. Or again, people saying, "Oh, Stanley's rolling in his grave. The X-Men weren't meant to be woke," and it's like, I'm sorry, but this is the X-Men we're talking about. The group in the comics and in TV and in movies, basically the X-Men in general, represent inclusivity. It represents basically having a home for every kind of character. All right, especially when it came to the second iteration of them that introduced Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Banshee, etc. This is a group that has been known to accept practically everyone because they're of a group that are feared and hated everywhere just because they exist. And you're saying that's woke? One, when the X-Men were created, no one gave a rat's you know what about that. They wanted to tell the story and they wanted to tell it the way that they did. And if people did think about that, well, that's just because that's what the X-Men are. They've always been like that. They've always stood and represented that. Because like if Marvel really was like, "Oh, we shouldn't make any woke characters or else people are going to get mad," we wouldn't have the X-Men or other characters like Black Panther, for example. And it's just like
emotional damage.
And it's really just like, where are people, like, do people who say these comments actually even know a damn thing? And I'm not even asking you to know like over 50 years of comic book history, just on a basic level when it comes to the X-Men. Do you understand what they actually represent? Like, you got a short Canadian guy, a tall Russian dude, a black queen from Africa. You got a German devil looking guy. Like, again, how many times do I have to literally say it? The X-Men have come from multiple places. There are multiple iterations of characters, X-Men, New Mutants, X-Force, etc., who are from practically every corner of the world. And in the 90s, they weren't worried about, oh, is it good that we have someone like Wolverine or Gambit or Cyclops or Morph be shown on screen? It's like they just wanted to tell the stories that people love the X-Men for. The stories that people grew up reading these comics about. So if y'all are being like, oh, that's woke, well, sorry, but then you aren't asking for the X-Men. You're only thinking about the powers or the cool battles. You're not thinking about who these characters are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about these characters if you are literally haunted by the fact that Morph potentially in the 90s was going to had some feelings for Wolverine or whatever, again with that whole story, or that Rogue is not fatty like she was back then just because the animation style is a little different. I'm sorry, but literally I can't even.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Can't even when it comes to people who make this argument. It's like, especially in the terms of the X-Men, it just seems so stupid. It really honestly does. But that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, because I actually want to get my 2 cents on this. I'm actually gonna work on doing a video about this on my Instagram. Oh, by the way, follow my Instagram. You can my Instagram been popping lately. I've been doing good. You can find my process, consistency, and post my videos and everything. Again, you find my Instagram and on TikTok and all the other platforms. But let's talk about X-Men. Let's talk about X-Men 97. Now, me personally, these characters again are pivotal to me and everything in every form of fashion you may think of. But however, I understand that the frustration that a lot of fans have with the current state of how we're doing diverse characters and and during certain themes today, because back then in like almost 10 20 years from that years ago, when we were just making movies and storytelling, they were just that, movies, form of storytelling, and either you bought it or you didn't. So but the point of as we talked about here, that a lot of people are angry, or again, some people are hating on it, whatever you want to call it, because of simply the fact of certain things that have changed from a creative standpoint, whether the aesthetic of a character, how they look, or what you might think they're going to do with the certain description of a character. And again, I have not watched any videos. Actually, me, Jay King, talked about this and stuff, and I'm making sure I'm not going to mention any content creators' name or anything like that, and stuff. But there is a point where, for me, and there's 3 sides of me. There's the fan side, there's the critic side, and there's the film pundit side. The film pundit is the one who understands the industry. The critic, I'm going to look at, see, even when it's bad or when it's good, I'm looking how this, from a structural standpoint, how this film or movie, TV show, whatever, is good. Fan, if you have an IP that I'm a big fan of, the history, the lore, and nostalgia and everything that tied to me, then again, I'm a huge fan of it. That's the other side of me. All 3 are wrapped around this. I know why they're doing X-Men 97 and why they're bringing back this show. However, a lot of people are probably not going to like this answer. It's because they don't care the fact that they want to bring back do an accurate depiction of X-Men 97. They're doing this as a distraction to shut some people up who've been asking for X-Men for years, when they got the rights. And now they want to actually, let's give them this show that were promised to actually give them something that they most likely, or probably just because of the consistency of the studio, probably won't even get. Because again, these iterations, these characters have not been done, do their due diligence, yet they were under a different umbrella of a studio. But again, since with current state of Marvel, they have not reached their point of actually being full flourished character to who they are, and especially with this interpretation of X-Men 97. Now being said, as a fan, I don't care that Rogue's ass is been deboed or whatever, because again, this is owned by Disney. The old movies they edited out, movies they got licensed, they edited to block out a woman. I think this movie called Waterworld. I forgot what this movie called, but a naked woman was coming out out this beach, whatever. But she was covered from where her hair, she had long hair, braids and stuff. But then when she was walking back to the river, her bare ass was exposed. So what Disney did was they just edited the hair to be a little bit longer, so basically covered all for her rear end and everything. Right now, again, I understand back in the day with these toys, they are put as these very god physique, characters with these large breasts, with the large asses, with dudes with these big super Zeus Splash. There, thank you, man, thank you, Daniel. Splash. Thank you. I got some good fans here. But yeah, good subscribers. Thank you. But yeah, so I have no issue again with the doing that. Again, this is kids. You're targeting children and stuff like that. And back then, the depiction of a character or a superhero has to be in the physique of almost pure perfection. Again, no skinny whatever. That's with anything. So now, whereas we're in a world now where hey, we can have people with different body types. Okay, cool. Let's be realistic here. There's been years, even the Flash TV show, Grant Gustin got criticized for a lot because of the fact that he was very skinny until season 7 or 8, when he actually, got older, started going to the gym and everything. And he actually bulked up some weight as the Flash. But again, to me, the end all be all for that Rogue thing is not an issue for me. The Storm stuff, which I've been seeing. Storm Mohawk is not a reference to of her sexuality, which again, what I'm hearing from people.
No.
Again,
no, the Mohawk thing is just a thing. Storm has had a Mohawk in the comics. They just wanted to do that versus the hair they did before. It's not a statement of something. It's just her hair.
Right. It's not a statement. I mean, even then, even though there are people make statements from changing their hair color, whatever, or stuff like that. The Mohawk Storm, that's actually a nod to I believe the 80s or 90s run of Storm as a character, because even again before even the narrative pre-woke, everybody remember Mohawk Storm, that comic run. That's what we remember, not the fact that she changed her haircut to a Mohawk because she's a lesbian. No. That never happened. But again, so those things. Also, there's certain other characters I saw. I think whoever the guy he looks like the chameleon guy.
Morph.
Morph. I read he said he's non-binary maybe because he changed to different people. I don't know. I mean, I didn't bother to look at some of the people comments on it because again, I just saw what it was and I just saw the thumbnail and I just clicked on. Let me go on about my merry day because again. What I read was actually, if you go look at Comics Explained, actually a few of those mutants are probably one of the most powerful Omega 11 mutants in X-Men history, and so therefore, they can that character Morph can take the form or being of likeness of any person, not like Mystique, like any person's power, anything like that, and that means anybody. So it would make sense again if that person was a non-binary, whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I just don't care. And and for me, the fact that the X-Men were always, regardless of whatever they say, Stan Lee with the video. And this is how the funny thing, that if you actually look at the origin of the X-Men, everything they keep going back to is the civil rights movement. If you look at Variant Comics, you look at WatchMojo.com, you look at all the origin of the X-Men, the civil rights movement is always mentioned, which is a reflection of of why they were created. Again, with Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and everything what they were creating, that's what they were in terms of representing the misfits, the outcasts, the underdogs, the people that were shunned for who they are. They weren't celebrities like the Avengers, which is why some people like the X-Men aside from the Avengers, because the Avengers, you guys are all popular and celebrities and stuff. Us, we're actually getting persecuted for who we are and stuff. And some of us who don't have a choice in everything XYZ. That is who the X-Men are, and that's what the X-Men again. At least from the original X-Men movies, what they always have been. I'll take you back to the first X-Men movie with Bryan Singer. When you walked into after Wolverine win a fight in a bar or whatever, and then Rogue is there, in secret and stuff in the bar. Guy approached him thinking that there's something weird about him because again he won that fight because he has adamantium, and he whispered in his ear saying, "I know who you are," and all of a sudden a fight erupts up, and all of a sudden Wolverine got the upper hand, and then he revealed his claws. Then the bar owner he got a shotgun, put it to his head, and said, "Get out of my bar,
Get my bar, you freak."
And then he left and stuff. That is also a clear example of times where Black folks, especially, were not welcome into restaurants or whatever and asked to leave, even to a point of actually being assaulted to leave the premises and stuff because of who they are. The prosecution. Again, there's a big shot of them sitting at a diner and not leaving while people are yelling and screaming at them. That is a clear example of who they are. And it's not saying and changing the history, saying, "Oh, well, the X-Men are just Black people" or anything like that. No, the civil rights movement, again, was just an example in terms of who these characters were and the position they were in the Marvel universe, especially when you look at characters like Magneto and Professor X. Again, they all keep talking about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Bryan Singer said it. Stan Lee have said it. Everybody have said it over countless times. And when you're using figures over and over and over again as an example in terms of why this group was created, but at the same time, now because times have changed now, and anything that we're giving acknowledgement to a race, minority, or group, therefore, then it must be serving agenda or a message, right? The X-Men are who they are. They're not woke. They're heroes, which is what they always have been. But that's why I just leave you on with that. Then J. King, anything I say before we get into the final?
No, I pretty much said everything. It's like, again, if you really have a problem with the X-Men being who they are, or the type of things that their storylines talk about, then you don't really actually care about the X-Men like that. You just care about some of their most iconic battles by themselves or with other superheroes, but you don't understand the X-Men on a level of who they are supposed to be. And it's just great. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Really sorry. And it's just crazy to see people being like, "Oh, it's woke." It's like, no, that's just the X-Men. It's just what they are. And if you have a problem with it now, well, sorry to say, but I just move on to something else.
Yeah. Now, again, this show can still suck, by the way. I'm not even going to say that because, again, I'm not saying the consistency of Disney plus Marvel has been good. However, What If was good. Well, I thought What If season 2 was actually good. So, again, I don't really think that this is going to be an issue other than voice acting for sake. But, yeah, right. I said Wolverine, Saber don't fight, I have a problem. Yeah, again, I think this show has many things to be delivered, but people are gonna probably find something to complain about it with. Again, I won't spoil anything, but I watch. I've now finished Avatar: The Last Airbender live action last night, right? Which is coming out tomorrow for you guys. And and with that show, again, they do a lot of they have a lot of female characters. They have a lot of mind you, this show came out when I was 2005. I was a kid. We were kids when this show came out. And it still had strong female characters, but the fact they were flawed, it wasn't a forced agenda or anything. They were just flawed and regular, kids and stuff. You've seen recent articles talking about Sokka and about we're removing parts of him being sexist and stuff, and because it was kind of weird in the original series and stuff like that. Now, I've actually watched this show. I'll be honest with you. If you did not read that article, you probably wouldn't notice anything different of what they did. That article actually was a waste of time and actually misleading, to be honest with you. And there was no point of that article even to be written, other than them just having a comment to quote something, whatever. Because again, it's not like he blatantly is what he is, in the animated series, but it's still, again, the emotional aspect, the character development of Sokka, especially dynamics when other characters interact with him to build himself as a character, those still deliver. So that whole article is BS, which is why even then on this channel, as I am a person who's a critic and also a film pundit, understanding and studying the industry, I'm telling you guys that you choose to be frustrated. You guys choose to watch YouTube videos that have no sense of any validity whatsoever other than a thumbnail with a guy like, and or somebody just saying failure, doomed, whatever. Now, mind you, I have thumbnails that have my face doing this, whatever. Again, because
Mhm.
the algorithm like faces. However, when you actually are reporting on news and stuff, that again, this industry definitely has an issue of having things coming from legitimate sources. But for the fact that if we're just reading certain articles where things are not being confirmed and over consistently time and time and time, we just gonna just because it's being floated around doesn't mean it's not necessarily true. We have a certain conversation with Sony right now that Sony and Disney are not working well with Spider-Man with Tom Holland until we see it from Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, and or either announcement from Kevin Feige or Tom Holland, the actor, or whatever, when a director's attached or the writer, whatever that might be, and when San Diego Comic-Con comes out and they make an announcement, then that's the only thing you can take as gospel. Other than that, everything else, at this point, I trained myself now as a person, whether I have to get from legitimate sources and I have connections and I can text somebody, hey, this real? No. That's it. And I'm saying that as someone who loves this medium, loves this industry, and love the product that we produce, which is film, TV, media, whatever, or art, right? But then by doing that, we have a responsibility to making sure that again, that even now I'm reporting news. Denzel Washington said this, everyone focus on now being first, it's not about telling the truth anymore. It's about being first. Oh, we just got to get it, sell it, and that's it. Whatever. It doesn't matter if it's true anymore. Right. So we, as people who report news, spread news around, whatever that might be, we have a responsibility not just to be first, but to tell the truth. Right. Now, again, this goes to another conversation, which we'll get into with the next topic, which is a review for a film that came out this past Friday. But there is, again, I am speaking as someone who does have issue with certain agendas that are being pushed because, again, they're giving shortcut storytelling, but on certain of these properties. However, when you have certain other things that are good, then therefore that are just good things, but just like they have a black, gay, female character, whatever that might be, is not automatically just destroyed because of who that character is, because of their race, diversity, whatever. It's because they're a great character and because that was a great story. But unfortunately, studios have trained the average moviegoer that automatically, when you see a minority, when you see a leading woman, when you see a gay person, when you're seeing a group or whatever being put at the centerpiece, you automatically think you're going to get something lower quality because unfortunately, majority, not all, but majority of the content has been little to be desired, which not been built consistently thinking, okay, well, now you're just telling me the diversity, especially with marketing is also played this too. Again, if you're just telling me the fact that it's like, hey, don't get me excited, Force Awakens, when you're selling me the black Jedi and he made the white girl the Jedi. Just an example that we all can relate to. So, but yeah, anyway, before we did this whole segment of that show. But anyway, that was a good talk though. Yeah, make sure you guys check out X-Men 97 trailer on YouTube and everything. The show will be coming out later in 2024. Let us know your thoughts. Now, we're going to get to the main topic of the show. Now, there's a movie that came out that is causing a lot of controversy and discourse online. Now, if you go to my Instagram, I gave my review of this movie. And Jay King gave his thoughts on his too, on his story. Make sure you go check that as well. I have not posted my video on YouTube as of yet because I wanted to actually have this be the first time you actually get my thoughts on YouTube of this film, which is going to be Madam Web. Madam Web is a new Sonyverse Spider-Man or Sonyverse non-Spider or Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man in it, and with not one, not two, but three Spider Women and a Madam Web in the film. And this film came out this last week, and fortunately, the box office has been absolutely horrible. The ratings have been now the lowest rated comic book film, I believe, in Rotten Tomatoes since 2015's Fantastic Four, or Fan Four Stick, they should say. But before I even give my thoughts on this, because we're actually gonna go, discuss this now in person because we actually haven't talked about this one bit. Wow, it's funny you said that. Have you seen my review? Have you seen my review? I think you've seen my review. It's funny you said that. See, shout out to Daniel. Shout out to Daniel, being a subscriber. It's funny you said that. But anyway, I'm gonna let Jay King go, and then I'll give my 2 cents, and then we're gonna go, go discuss it as good brothers in Christ and all that stuff. Right?
No. You discuss this first.
No. You go. No, you go. You go.
You go.
No, you go.
Why do I have to go?
Listen, I won't ask a second time.
Okay, all right, Prince T'Challa.
It's Challenge Day. Matter of fact, I should create a segment.
There will be no challenge today.
You know what? I should make a segment, topic of a show, whatever, and do it. Welcome to Jedi Mike 7 versus. Right, I have to have a ding song, and we use a topic, whatever, in movies, whatever. Hey, was this movie bad? Yes or no, or whatever. Hey, Madam Web is bad. Change my mind, whatever, or something like that. The Marvels was bad. Change my mind, But yeah, Jay King, what was your thoughts on Madam Web?
I'm just gonna say, when it comes to that conversation, I would be the only person on one side of that conversation all the time, and because you know how I am. But okay. So I saw Madam Web this past weekend. I haven't seen in specifics reviews, but I've seen many people just be like, don't see this film. I'm begging you, don't see it. Save your dollar. Don't give this movie any revenue or whatsoever. This is as bad as Morbius. I've heard this, that, and the other. But if you guys know me, I am somebody who does not pay attention to any of that. I want to judge a film by my own 2 eyes and by my ears, how I feel like the film is. If it's as bad as people have been screaming at, or are there some redeeming qualities to it? Now, being someone that has only seen the film once, there may be some details I'm missing, but I will say not as bad as Morbius, because I really could not stand that film. But this is not a great film. It's not bad, though. It's certainly watchable, but it is not the greatest. And before anyone even says it, because we just came off that conversation, it's not woke. These are just 3 to 4 women spider characters that have existed for a long time now at this point that are just getting a spotlight. Just because they're at the forefront does not mean it's woke. Don't even start that conversation. Any of you in the comments, or anyone who sees this in the pre-recording, just don't even. But in terms of this, I'd say the parts that I feel like were or could have had a little more time in the shop have to do with mainly our villain, Ezekiel Sims, who many people who have read the comics know is the man who introduced the concept of spider totems and the Spider-Verse for the first time to Peter Parker, showing up barefoot, white hair, saying, hey, what if the spider that bit you was actually meant to bite you, kind of stuff. I wouldn't say that this is a bad representation of Ezekiel. It's just a weird representation. Ezekiel is definitely someone that isn't necessarily an ally or an enemy, because he's very much been both, even though he's never worn a spider suit. Though, I mean, hey, they had to give him a suit in this film, I guess. But I'd say when it comes to him, especially his dialogue, it felt like there was a lot that was edited or cut out or reworked. They had him go back in the studio and redo some lines. Maybe because, I don't know. I've heard some people saying maybe the way that he was tracking the 3 future Spider Women could have come off as predatory. And I'm like, okay, understandable. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, you just feel weird. It's like, you understand his motivations. You understand why he's doing what he's doing to prevent, the future where he gets murked by them, presumably. But then the question comes, but why? Why are they after him? That's a question that never gets answered in the film. It's like, why were Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl, and Arania after him in the first place in the future? That's not a question he asks. It's just, oh, they're going to kill me in the future? Might as well kill them now in current day 2003, which, yes, this film takes place in 2003. Other than that, the dynamic between our three Spider Women and Madam Web, I actually liked. I actually liked because it was very much this whole, I got to protect these four girls, and it's almost like it's almost in a sense a found family kind of thing because again, they all are people who have a different type of background, but the core thing that unites them is that they're all alone. They don't got anybody. Julia's family does not want her. Arania's dad got deported, and Maddie, outside of her uncle, who is yes J. Jonah Jameson, she doesn't have her parents are too busy for her. And then of course with Madam Web, her mom died when she gave birth to her, so they all have this shared thing of like they don't got anybody. And I actually really liked how that bonded all of them together. I even liked, Cassandra Webb and her connection to, as we find out, yes, that other officer guy is Uncle Ben. It's Ben Parker. And we even get to see the birth of a Peter Parker in that universe. From Mary Parker, from his mom. I gotta say, like, their dynamic was really cool. It definitely felt like a best friends, that have known each other for a long time kind of dynamic. Again, there are a lot of parts in this film that work. There's just other parts of this film that are like, what? Like, I feel like the things that would have made this film better is if we spent a little more time in the future with the future Spider-Woman to see how much different they are then than how they are currently in the story. If we reworked some stuff with Ezekiel to make it not necessarily what it was, and also to explain why they were after him in the first place. Again, the way that this film was shot, I understand why they took some ways that they did, especially since Cassandra Webb is a clairvoyant connected to the multiverse, seeing things through multiple different, passages, whatever. I understand why some ways were filmed, with deja vu, with a sort of like almost watery, especially given the way that she was born. I understand some of the aesthetics, and I don't mind some of the aesthetics. Again, there are a lot of things that I'm missing from this film because I've only seen it once. Maybe I'll see it one more time, but who knows? But regardless, it's not a bad film. It's definitely a lot better than Morbius. It's not a bad film. It's just that there's a lot of it that's holding this film back from being one that people aren't saying save your dollar from. Like, and one that people could maybe enjoy just as much as they enjoy the Venom films, for instance. Again, a lot of missed potential and a lot of stuff that should have been reworked. But I can at least say I enjoyed it. Again, it's an enjoyable film as long as you are not someone that's like, four women characters at the forefront. It's like, no, move past that, and you can actually have a fun time with this film. It's not the greatest. It's not bad.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are you passing the mic now?
Yes, and I'm passing it on to you. Tell me, why is this film so terrible? Just go ahead.
So I gave my review. Now, first of all, you keep saying about who saved your dollar. He's talking about me, y'all. I said the review of Save Your Dollar because actually it was a sponsorship toward, the sponsorship of the video.
Well, it's not just that. I've also seen other people saying I should have saved my money.
I know, but I said I'm talking about what I said. I said that, hey, I'm did this video so you can save your dollar, and this is going to shout out to our sponsors. So you ever actually like free movie tickets and stuff? Well, you guys should go to Lala Rewards. Sign up for Lala Rewards right now for free. You can actually get free movie tickets and actually reviewing movies, engaging in Discord community. You can able to win some cool TV and movie memorabilia. Lala Rewards also able to give you a rewards program where you're able to get free movie tickets to any theater you want. You can talk about anything from the AMC, Regal, you name it, they got it. Lala Awards is you can find the link, which I'm gonna post in right now. That's gonna be the sponsor of this video. Actually, go to into my Instagram. You can find a link to my link tree. The link of terms of Lala Awards will be there. Actually, I'll put the actual link in right now. Just give me 1 second, y'all, as I'm multitasking. But yeah. I like Lala Awards because, again, I like free movie tickets. Again, now as a press, I get to see movies for free, which, again, is a privilege. But, again, you know what? We love talking about movies, and you guys love talking about movies. And you guys can also get get rewarded for reviewing movies. But yeah, guys, a lot of awards. Again, I'm gonna put the link right here. What's the one here? Bam. There we go. There you go, y'all. Click the link to Lala Awards. Sign up now, and make sure you guys can also go to their Discord as well. You're able to redeem points and able to get some nice stuff, y'all. So anyway, sign up for Lala Rewards, and also make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at JediMike7. And when you also click to my link as well for Lala Awards, again, you're able to sign up. It's completely free. As well, you also can be notified to Lala Instagram account as well, because they have a trivia night, which can be coming on February 21st, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you love rom-coms and stuff, again, it's Valentine's Day season. You guys might want to go to the trivia night. You might be able to win some free, some really nice prizes. But anyway, I'll go sign up for Lala Real Rewards. All right. Yes, y'all. I just did a sponsor. Bam. But yeah, so the reason why I said I had issues with this movie for several things. Okay. I said in my review for once, and there are gonna be people can be saying that this movie is bad because of female characters and stuff like that. And I said absolutely false. This film is just bad. I believe this film for me definitely reminds me of 2003, 2004's Halle Berry, Catwoman. Think about it. Halle Berry's Catwoman. No connection to Batman. No Selena Kyle. And the fact that they connected this to a cat goddess instead of the fact that she's just a cat burglar. Again, they try to create something new. Now, I know a lot of people might like it, but again, that film was considered one of the worst comic book or superhero movies of all time. And Halle Berry herself received the award and accepted, yeah, this movie was garbage. This film, to me, was a waste of my time. And also, I think, disrespectful to any really Spider-Man fans, because again, I actually am a fan of these Spider-Women characters. However, I believe they bit off more than they can chew. I don't understand why they made this movie, only because, again, this movie made sense for me if they were going to make instead of Morbius. But again, Morbius I really didn't care for because, again, that's a vampire, type Spider-Man character and stuff like that. There's really nothing much you can base off. You could call it movie Dracula, and then it still would have been, no different from it, because, again, it's a side character. But this is Madam Web, who is connected to Spider-Man. Again, you also have these Spider-Women. You have Sydney Sweeney, who plays Julia Carpenter's Spider-Woman, who's one of my favorite Spider-Women in this bunch. But again, you also have Dakota Johnson, who plays Cassandra Webb in the most mailed-in performance. She did not want to be there. So, and even then, so that on the day or the week after the first trailer and the only trailer that came out from this movie, she actually fired her talent agency, right? Because she knew this was a piece of garbage. And not only that, this film went through a bunch of rewrites, not because of COVID, not because of, an actor left the project, whatever. It's because the studio did not know what they want to do, and they tiptoeing whether we should add this connected to Spider-Man or should we not. Me personally, again, the villain was absolutely horrible in this film. I agree with Jay King. This film, the Ezekiel Sim is a very simple character. If you bring the whole explanation of the spider totem, that would be very simple. However, what they did was, now here's another spider that's gonna need to bite me so I can get spider powers. No webbing, no nothing, whatever. But you know what's also weird? Let me go to Peru. And I got a big this African tribe of spider people who worship the spider god, who are painted red with this webbing over them. They look like they made their Spider-Man costume in the freaking village and stuff, right? The campfire.
Which by the way isn't anything out of the ordinary. That did happen before as well with the comics. But yeah, like I totally get it though.
Right. But again, I'm telling you, dude, she did not want to be in this movie. And also the fact that there's also been slight rumors that made possibly that Sony is actually tricking these actors to thinking that they're in the MCU because of the whole Tom Holland thing, but they're actually not. Because, for example, why does this film need to be set in 2003? Right. Well, obviously, if you're saying it's going to be a prequel, then okay, well, right. But the point is, we want this. This is a Spider-Man or Spider-related movie, and we want to see people be Spider-Man or Spider-Women. Again, we just had last year. We had not one, not two, not three, but over several Spider-Women characters in the spot and across the Spider-Verse who were all great. And yet the year next, here you have not one, not two, not three, but four Spider-Man, Spider-Woman related characters that you can't even develop or fully flesh out. This film did not need to have three Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl, and Arcane at all. Especially when you're introducing the fact of Spider-Woman as a new character in a cinematic level, right? There should be a movie called Spider-Woman before you even had Madam Web. If anything, I would have taken the two Spider-Girl and the Arcane girl out of the picture. Yes, I understand the Latina and the black girl. I'm taking her out of this movie. All right, well, it doesn't matter about the race. I'm just taking them out because there's no need for them to be in this movie. I would focus on Sydney Sweeney's character, Juliet Carpenter. I will still have the character Madam Web, but I definitely would have recast her for an older actress to be more of the more comic book accurate and hopefully a more seasoned actor that can actually give the more type of wisdom that Madam Web does give in terms of Spider-Man, especially look back at the animated series. Again, it's not rocket science. This, if you look at here, I'm just cooking right now. I'm not even got to the main course. Look at this thing. Now, I actually like these suits. I think again, the Sydney Sweeney Spider-Woman costume is my favorite. However, you only see this in literally on a total of 3 or 4 minutes in this movie.
And they're all within the future, which if looking back is really just two scenes. One, Ezekiel explaining his future. Two, if you technically count when he looked up on the security footage of something that is crazy that existed back in 2003, and then the ending of the film.
Right. And here's the thing, though. I actually like the dynamic of these girls. I think there were potential to be there. However, you left little to desire because you basically have not let their characters fleshed out whatsoever. Hey, my uncle is J. Jonah Jameson. You think I should have been something that should have been in this film for at least people to think, oh, that's interesting. That just doesn't mean you have to see J.K. Simmons. Doesn't mean you have to see the Daily Bugle or anything like that, even though we see newspapers of the Daily Bugle. But again, at least not the fact that, again, this is an alternate universe of Spider-Man or related characters. Again,
if anything, it could have been just as simple as she pulls out her phone, sees J. Jonah Jameson on there. Oh, hey, sorry, I'll call you back. Would have been that simple.
But again, I'll do you one better. If you look at again, canon wise, right? These Spider-Women should never really interact with each other unless it's a Spider-Verse crossover.
I mean, I wouldn't say never, especially in the case of Julia and Anya, because because seriously, like the reason Anya becomes Spider-Girl is because Julia gave her the suits when she became Madam Web. So yes, those two have a connection. In terms of Maddie, though, that's weird.
What I'm trying to say is that when we don't even know a Spider-Woman in terms of a cinematic level period, just start with one instead of doing three. Because again, these characters are actually good in the comics, but yet you wasted them in this movie to a point they'll probably not even get a sequel. They're not even getting a sequel, but yet you wasted all your money on these really cool costumes for a flashback scene, which should have been really the anchoring of this whole movie. Because, for example, I understand that. Let's think concept-wise, right? Concept-wise, a guy is getting nightmares of his future being killed by these three, Spider-Women, whatever, and now he's going to try to hunt them down, Terminator style. That's actually, an interesting concept. All right? However, would have been interesting that maybe, because I've actually seen somebody who had nightmares of somebody ruining their future. And there was a show called The Flash. Now, if you remember The Flash, there was a character called Eobard Thawne. Eobard Thawne was the reverse Flash. Barry Allen is the Flash. They are arch nemesis to each other. So what happened in the main show? The main show was that there was a main timeline where Barry and Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, were fighting each other for years and stuff. But then the Reverse Flash, he decided, you know what, this guy's can keep on beat me, whatever. I'm going back in time and I'm going to kill him, right? So he goes back in time, and then his Barry chases him and stuff, and then boom, right? Instead of actually killing him, he actually kills Barry's mother. But by doing that, he actually gets stuck in the past, and the only way he can get to the past is actually in order for him to actually get to the future, and basically get his powers back and everything. He has to create his arch nemesis. In order for him to get back to his home, he has to be the one to create the Flash, his arch nemesis. So it'll be interesting that maybe because of the fact of this vision and because of fate, whatever, or destiny, I should say, right? We like that word with Madam Web, don't we? But this film actually could have been interesting. Hey, maybe by him trying to go and trying to kill these girls at an earlier age of their life, subsequently actually made them actually led to them getting their powers and them becoming Spider-Woman a lot sooner than later. That would be, and it actually gets to the climax of saying, hey, this is always a cycle of that, the reason why we were your demise because you created us,
Yeah,
and so
a closed time loop basically. He can't undo it. It's a closed time loop.
right, which would have been interesting because again, we at least can have these characters be in these superhero roles, but also again get into their powers and the abilities. You only see it for a bit, but you don't know what these abilities are. Even when you look at Julia Carpenter's Spider-Woman, when she has like a little beam, if you don't know what that is, you would have been so confused,
Mm-hmm.
right? So again, this was to me what I felt was a disrespect to Spider-Man characters because again, it's that now it's like, why? Who wants to see Madam Web? And then here's the thing, though: you could have also had a MacGuffin to connect all of your Spider-Verse, Spider-Man related movies, live action wise, with the character Madam Web. But unfortunately, what you did was let's just actually just set it in his own pocket universe, no connection to Spider-Man whatsoever. Even though there were reports that they were actually going to connect it, I believe, to Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, but then instead they took him out because they wanted to be their own story. There was no end credit scene because they wanted to be their own story. They forgot that this was a Spider-Man related movie. We want to see web sling, want to see action, want to see choreography, fight scene, whatever. But more importantly, we want to see a good story, right? And what you have is a good story on paper off of a concept. And that's more than you really get. Because again, you have this guy jumping in through the with the spider suit, looking like, hey, I want to be Miles Morales, but evil. But let me just go get this black and red Spider-Man suit and whatever. By the way, they knocked me off a building and I fell. And even though I just jumped off this building 6 stories down and I'm fine, hey, you know what I should have done? Let me just try to go and kill him, and before they even get connected to this Madam Web person, because I can't see her. I don't know why I can't see her, right? But even then, realize that hey, these village of Peruvian spider people that are jumping on trees and mess, right? Acting like they're freaking Beast Boy from Teen Titans. Like, they again, horrible visual effects with that. I was like, wait, what is this? And then the fact that they give her the great power come great responsibility line in a new way, but that was the scene that pissed me. Really, I just like, that was the moment for me. But then also, let's give you one better. Hey, you know what? This murderer is chasing you. Chasing you 3 girls who I just met in Subway. I'm gonna go take y'all and save your lives. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have to go. I think I know that dude. I think he was with spiders, right? So let me go back to my apartment. I'm gonna leave you 3 helpless women in the woods for 3 hours, and I'm gonna go back to my apartment, go to my suitcase, which I haven't opened for 20 years, look in terms of the notebook my mom had left me, talk to my cat because I gotta tell someone at least some exposition, because we ain't paying attention. And then let me just go and just narrate everything I'm thinking in my head and stuff. So that, and again, and then 3 girls like, you know what? I'm hungry. Want to go to a diner? And guess what? It's Britney Spears. Oh, baby. All that stuff, right? They go to a diner and then they see all these boys in the corner, right? Mind you, they're wanted fugitives because they're wanted, right? And this girl, the black girl, who by the way is from a rich family, also but she's a skater and she's like, oh, I don't live by the rules and stuff. Julia Carpenter, she just has an outfit she got from Party City, or should I say, from Spencer's, because she had the smallest freaking skirt in this damn movie. And then, well, you know what? I'm so insecure. I'm quite shy to grow up. It'd just be cute if I just took off my glasses. Then that means I'm pretty. You know what? Black girls say, I got you covered. Let me just take half of your shirt that already doesn't fit you, too damn small, and let me just tie it up a low so we can see a little bit of belly action. And let's get you on this damn table. And let's take you on this damn table and do a little dance from these boys. By the way, these high schooler boys, right? While, by the way, we're wanted fugitive, and the truck driver dude, reading the newspaper of the Daily Bugle, like, okay, let me go call the NYPD and stuff.
Like seriously, like, bro, we get it. It's Sydney Sweeney, but for the love of God.
And this is you talk about for the feminists. The feminists weren't even supporting this movie. That's how you knew. Hey, they got our backing on this one. Like, for real. They're like, hey, there's gonna be some sexist comments and people say that again that their female characters absolutely false. This movie is just bad. But then also, I'll do you one better. Peter Parker. We don't even get that name, Peter Parker, at all. We get Ben Parker, which I know again could have been a great character. The actor was great. I think could have played a young Ben Parker, but I'm kind of confused. Hey man, you're trained in ER and emergency and stuff, right? These women are wanted fugitives. By the way, you trained doing emergency actions and stuff. I'm pretty sure you probably had to operate trying to deliver the baby. Do you really have to go and drive your pregnant sister-in-law all the way to the hospital while these women are wanted fugitives? You could have actually gave delivery at home. There's such thing as a home birth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like
nobody knows who you are.
Right.
Like,
you could have just done the delivery at home, and then like the ambulance could have just came afterwards, but you could have taken care of that yourself.
Oh, by the way, thank you overall 90. By the way, I'm an ER, right? Listen, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you guys. I'm gonna teach you CPR because that's how you save lives instead of being a spider woman. Who needs spider women when you can do CPR? Remember, hey, J. King, remember 1, 2, 3.
Stop. No, it's because of the fact that she somehow got on a plane to Peru.
No, stop. Remember, when you do CPR, when you do
okay, all right.
You gotta keep the same heartbeat rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Wow, you guys are actually good at this. Not like they teach you this in freaking high school and stuff. Like, we've done emergency stuff before in high school. Come on, even in 2003, girl. Come on. Like, I know they took away cursive. They didn't take away CPR and all that stuff, man. Get out of here. But let's say, you know what? I'm actually going to take a plane ticket with my emergency, ER money, because apparently I got money to go across country. You know what I mean? Even though, by the way, I'm a wanted fugitive. It's okay. I have my passport. These security cameras, even though we're only about 3 or 4, I think about 2 years or so from 9/11. So it doesn't matter that, airports are probably security and high as hell right now. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I can just go across country. Nobody's chasing my white ass, and so I can just go into the Peru, know exactly where I am. And the man that gave birth, that actually helped birth me is standing right there waiting for me and knew I was going to come by the Holy Spirit. So listen, it's just funny. And then,
like I said, this wasn't a perfect film.
And then, okay, you know how we're gonna fight this Spider-Man, spider person? He's like a spider person. We can't say Spider-Man because that's what they want. These spider people, right? Mind you, know how we fight this Ezekiel Sims guy? Because I see the future. We're gonna fight with some damn, fireworks. Because baby, you're fireworks, right? But we're gonna beat this spider person who killed 3 or 4 officers, jumping 365, buildings and stuff with a single bound, and we're gonna fight this dude with some freaking fireworks and the damn Pepsi sign. That's how we beat spider people. And then you know what, she sees a feature, so guess what, she can block, she can dodge and all stuff because she sees all of it. And then just when the guy gets on top of her, right, the girl's like, no, stop it. They grab like a little pipe, whatever, and try to jump in, like, oh, they're fighting. Not that they're fighting them with their pure regular damsel in distress, you know, um, super strength, because that's how you beat the man with the sisterhood. That's how you beat a spider person that is just knocking down freaking fireworks into damn planes that are just now helicopters which are crashing. But we got the power of the sisterhood that can take this guy out and stuff. And then mind you, because she taught CPR, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, now she's blind because the Pepsi sign, mind you, the after effect of Pepsi that gives you blindness, right? So so it's like she's in the water, and then she fell down, and mind you, she had an illness apparently that was supposed to right? She had an illness. Where's my ether sound? I see. You think I'll pull up? No, I ain't. So this is what happened. So she falls down 60 stories feet, whatever, right? And she now apparently, when she just found out she had this disease she never knew about, even as a freaking ER. Not like she took some blood samples of herself and went to medication. I know she grew up in the system, but at least you either have some health problems, sweetheart. But yeah, she's automatically paralyzed, right? And has this condition that she can never walk again and stuff, right? But now here she is now in this chair. Where are you going? I'm not done with you. Get back to the I'm not done with you. So she now sits in this chair. Madam Web. Hold on, let me find the chair, right? In the movie. Let me find that. Because she just stole this freaking X from X2. Remember, mind you, in 2003, I believe that's when X2 came out. So she went over to the Fox universe, took a damn wheelchair he wasn't using, and that's how she able to move around in 2003 with that robotic wheelchair, because she's she got that money, you know what I mean, and stuff. But yeah, that's how she get her famous chair in Spider-Verse. But then she's blind, so now she wears these nice super glasses. It's almost similar to this, y'all. Let me give you. Yeah, you think I'm playing? I'm not playing, y'all. This movie is definitely difficult to watch. Not Morbius, obviously. Not the. I heard someone say it's like The Room. You ever seen The Room?
Yes, I've seen The Room. It's not like The Room.
Right, y'all tripping, y'all. But like this does have issue. Anyway, but yeah, like this not do it. Because listen, this is how you also know too. Anytime I'm teaching you guys, giving you movie pundit 101. Anytime when a movie studio releases their review embargo the day before the movie comes out, is automatically dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. We know that as movie critics. When you release a movie, the review embargo, because the whole point is we're your promotion. We're supposed to tell you, hey, we like it, go see this movie. You release it the day before the movie came out. Always not a good sign. Always. Even when Mario had a week or so of bad reviews, and guess what happened? Made $1 billion. The first Venom, right? The first Venom was not getting that good reviews, but it was financially successful. Which I honestly think was also one of the good blessings, but also one of the greatest curse. Because I think Sony's trying to get a feel of themselves. Just because, you had Spider-Man No Way Home almost make $2 billion. Almost make $2 billion. You had Across the Spider-Verse that won Best Animated Movie of the Year. You had also the second Spider-Verse that was also successful. And you had the first Venom movie that say, hey, we can make a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man and be successful. And that will work, right? No, wrong. right? And yet they think, oh yeah, we're just gonna keep pushing these movies out without Spider-Man, no connection. No, no, no. So yeah, that's what to me was like it was a waste of my time. Again, I think it was character assassination. I said this is Assassin's Creed sisterhood because I honestly believe that these characters are really good characters, good suits, good actresses. This, mind you, this woman, she actually lied about her audition. She auditioned for this movie the same time she auditioned for Hawk Girl. And Hawk and James Gunn, Hawk Girl, whatever, asked, hey, do you ever have experience with stunts before in your past movies? She said, yeah, I did, but she never mentioned Madam Web because she thinks she couldn't do both at the same time. But it doesn't matter. You won't come back to this role. But it's like you'll be our Hawk Girl. You be on DC and you'll be well taken care of. But yeah, so with this though, yeah, waste of my time. However, what I might have liked, I liked the concept of the astral projection in the last like 5 minutes of the movie. You know, again, but the way we beat this Spider Person with a car and an ambulance truck, that's how we beat him. And a Pepsi sign.
You know, I'm actually surprised you didn't bring up how Ezekiel's fighting style is basically for everyone else, let's punch out the way. But when it comes to these women, I gotta choke them.
I gotta choke him because I gotta touch the woman. You know, I gotta touch her, and then I gotta suck the life essence to know that I'm a man, and I am from Mount Apalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalapalap spider, and I must get these women to die because they're going to kill me when I'm older with white hair. Yes, yes. So yes,
And,
I must.
and again, this isn't just with them. There was also this one female cop, same move.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired, but I honestly I just couldn't with this film, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. We respond with our dollars, and our dollars have spoken, y'all. Y'all don't like Madam Web, and the studio. Unfortunately for me, I'm getting sick and tired now. We got 2 movies that are coming out later this year. We got Kraven the Hunter, and we got Venom. Now, are they dead on arrival? I don't believe so. Again, I like the trailer for Kraven. I just hope that that they released more trailers than one of Kraven the Hunter and everything. So yeah, I just hope that they do that and be good. And Venom, again, this is the last or most likely last, whatever. Even though Marvel will probably continue with Venom with the symbiote stuff, but yeah, I just think this to me the biggest sin is the fact that when I see potential and then you just don't capitalize on it at all, and with terrible execution. It'd be one thing that this film was garbage, and it's easy for me to say that. There's some good things in this movie, and that's the same thing with the Marvels. There are good things in this movie, and you don't capitalize on it, and makes the film bad. And I'm like, this could have been so simple if you just did this. That's it. Now, as a critic, whatever, or whether you want as a popcorn film to go, have a good time, whatever, great. Now, for me, I like a little bit of action, but this wasn't giving me no action at all. It's giving me running and stalling, all that stuff. But yeah, they were out of shape after 5 pumps. They really were. Listen. Wow, you're really good at this. But anyway, JK, any thoughts in terms of Sony's Spider film, Madam Web, and stuff before I get off this damn show? Because I think it was a great show. I think we had great conversations. I think we had great discussions of X-Men and people talking about. And again, all you folks about with the whole woke and stuff like that. Again, these are great female characters. And they're just poorly executed. But again, the studios, if you want to combat this, just make a well-grounded character. Not like you've done this before. You have done this before. You just forgot and lost your way. And I believe you guys can't go back. These costumes look too good to be wasted the way they did in this movie. That's the frustration part of it. That's the frustration part. But yeah, there's just a comic book in me. They could like I want to see these women these women to be developed in their characters. And that's it. That's just it with me with this. But Sony trying to convince Marvel and that scares me. Well, yeah, it's depending on what they're doing with their IP right now, because they're making some moves right now aside from Spider Verse that I'm questioning. But again, it's whatever. It's whatever though. Yeah, but J King, what is your thoughts in terms of Sony as the company that in terms of after the response to Madam Web, what they should do? Because again, the numbers don't lie. But what do you think direction that they should go, and also what they can learn from this movie and Morbius? Because again, you didn't like Morbius, and also you said there's a lot of issues in this film as well. So again, what are your solutions you provide for Sony? For them to understand, so that they can maybe have more successful outcomes than what they had with this one.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Every single time that Sony has not been in the best state when it's come to those movies, it's because they always bite off more than they can chew. Let's look back at the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. The first two were successful. Then they overhaul it in the third film. Andrew Garfield's first movie, for the most part, good, but then they overhaul it in the second film. Not really any issues of that within the Tom Holland movies, because that was mostly handled by Marvel for the most part. When it comes to, like, say, Venom, not really that much of a problem there. But literally we have back-to-back successes of No Way Home, Across the Spider-Verse, and then they overhaul it with this film. Not that there aren't things to like about this film, because there are. But again, it's another sign of they bit off more than they can chew. I think they need to stop doing that. Stop doing it, take it one step at a time, and you'll be good. You bite off more than you can chew, and you wonder why some projects don't stick the landing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned this. I think that Venom was actually a mistake for the fact that film was successful and that convinced Sony, oh, we can make a bunch of Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. No. Venom has solo titles. Madam Web don't have solo titles. She's a supporting character. Even, she had a one-shot run at this. No. Morbius does not have titles. Morbius appeared in Blade. Which probably will never even interact with. At least these versions of the characters. So, again, I think Sony need to get their act together, but I'm just going to say this. Mark my words. Mark my words. In 2020, end of 2024, after Kraven and after Venom, they're going to have a come to Jesus moment. And I'm pretty sure they're baiting on we're just waiting we'll make our next Spider-Man movie to save our asses. We're waiting for Spider-Verse and 3 and Spider-Man 4. That's what they're waiting for. And I'm saying they deserve better in terms of as a company to making sure they're pushing out the stories that not only are important but also make sense. But also they're taking creative leaps too. I give you credit, again, for director taking creative leaps for this film. But again, you're still losing the backing of you need to make this film way more entertaining. Remember, action packed, web slinging, at least some connection, whatever, Spider-Man, whatever. This film was lacking a lot of fundamental things for it to be great. And for me, it's kind of self-explanatory, but for other people, it more than meets the eye. Right? They're like, oh, what do you mean by that? But yeah, aside from that, what do you guys think about Madam Web? Are you guys gonna go see it? Make sure you guys check it out in the theater near you. But yeah, that concludes in terms of our review or our view of Madam Web. But yeah, JK, you got your final thoughts on again? We talk about X-Men. Was it Fantastic Forecasting, all stuff like that? Anything? I mean, again, until we see you next time.
No, I pretty much said everything.
Okay. Where can people find you?
Here or my Insta.
And what's your Instagram?
It's jking_ZIO.
Gotcha. But yeah, but listen, I will just say this to Sony. This is my response to you, Sony.
I am sick. I am sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired.
Yeah, after this movie. But yeah, anyway, you can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Twitter. I have a Twitter now at JediMike7. Again, people getting blasted on Twitter, y'all. I didn't want to get into it. I said I'd never get a Twitter, and I had to get a Twitter for business purposes. But anyway. But yeah, guys, happy Avatar week. We'll go break that down, everything and stuff like that. I can't get my review till Thursday. I really can't talk about it. But yeah, Invincible coming around the corner, y'all. Invincible coming around the corner. Dune. I'll be seeing it Monday. I'll also be seeing it again with JK and my wife and stuff. Yeah, but I'll be seeing it Monday. So, but yeah, guys,
just don't get the popcorn bucket.
Oh, what do you think? That's what I'm doing this weekend. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a video for you. I'm gonna tag you in it, made specifically for you. And I'm gonna go to AMC, buy my bucket, and $25. That damn thing, $25 for a damn bucket of that. Can you imagine that? $25.
Okay.
You serious?
I feel like you're saying that because of what I did that one time.
Oh no! But I'm literally gonna get the bucket. I have to.
Jesus Christ!
It's too much branding. I got to get the bucket before it's gone.
Even the stars don't like the bucket.
So I'll put it right there. There.
Oh dear God! And it's still gonna be filled with popcorn.
No. I'm gonna put it right there, and that's gonna be one of the most expensive thing I wasted for $25. But I'm gonna put it right there for Dune. Yeah. Anyway, y'all. Till next time, this is Jay King, and it's Jedi Mike 7. Peace, y'all. We are out.
Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.